I just want to say that it is a privilege and an honor to be asked to stand before you this morning to provide what I hope to be an inspiring and uplifting message and a challenging one.
Yes.
It's so easy to be comfortable in this life with our routine. So I hope to share something else. Let's share something. We're going to start with a moment of prayer. So if we just settle down. Breath, reconnect instantly. Father, Mother God, center of all that is, creator, motivator, mover of my soul. I ask that you move through me this moment and this day to be my voice, to be my thoughts, to be the action of this sermon, this message. Touch the hearts and minds, those within my voice and beyond, that they may move into the purpose of their lives. I'm grateful in some ways. So why are we here today? Many of us came for a message. Some of us came because it feels good. We see friends and fellowship, get those great hugs. Still others of us have come because there's something in us that moved us to be here. We may have been tired and pain, but it woke us up anyway. Got us here. When even there's a part inside of us that may have other things that we wanted to do. Commitments, activities, etc. So I'm speaking to the part within us that is seeking. We're all seeking something. More peace. A better way to deal with those life's challenges. And if we're honest, maybe a little more money. Better life circumstances. I could go on and on. Seeking is what gets us to the well, brings us here. But when we get here, what do we expect? Do we expect to just be handed the answer? Do we expect that spiritual food to just be placed into our mouths? Or are we willing to do something? To do more than just show up? What if the answer to the very thing you are seeking is wrapped up in your current circumstances? What if the answer to making more money is coded right within finding a more whole and holy way to deal with that challenging coworker? Our seeking is like a prayer. It runs a subconscious, almost endless, repetitive speech within our minds. As I say this, you may instantly be able to relate to that. Some of us want a new mate, let's wait, etc. When we run this tape of I want, or I wish I could have, all that Spirit can do in that moment is give us more reasons to say,
That's right.
I want, I wish I could have. So the big shift is done when we go from I wish to I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
From I want to I already have within me the gifts, talents, and energy to manifest my desire. Feel the difference? Then Spirit can go, aha, now she's ready to take the next step.
Yes.
Or in some cases, be presented with the next piece of the puzzle to get you there. When we think about puzzles, we think, oh, that's just something for children. But I want to say right now, puzzles are not just for kids.
Puzzles are not just for kids.
so I know a lot about religious science, but through my tenure of learning about what it meant to have God in my life, I went to Baptist church, Lutheran, evangelical, Catholic. So I'm a little bit used to like hearing back from you. So if something I say kind of sparks a little something, don't be shy. Just
Speak to me.
respond. We're eating off of each other here to get to that next level. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. So life puts pieces, obviously, in our place where we're strong. So, for example, you may have a strong family bond. There's a strong piece there in your life already. A job that you've done for many years, doing work that you're obviously very good at. Another very strong piece there in your life. Or maybe a comfortable home that you lived in for years. That's wonderful. It's easy. Feels good. But the puzzle isn't complete. Although we're doing the work, are we fulfilling the fullness of our purpose? If we dare to ask this question and then accept the answer, which there may be the tough part, because accepting of that, well, no, I'm not living the fullness of my purpose, is where we have to take that next step. It begs the question, now, what do I do?
Yes.
How do I begin to fill that cup? Many of you know what I do, and in many cases, begin to feel falsely seduced by titles or images of status, power, or celebrity. A lot of times we see individuals who dare to step forward into the fullness of their purpose and say, because they're standing there, and I'm standing here, that in some way, I'm small, or I'm less. But I caution you, this is the biggest mistake we could make every day. There's no need to look at someone else and say to yourself that you're less than, because they're filling their purpose.
Come on.
But that's why we're here. I blame the TV for this, the media, because they give us this false idea that there's only room at the top for a few. But we come here and we know, we're fed every week that we are the fullness of God's purpose. We are here because of God. And our goal and our job of being on the planet is to express God's mission for us.
Yes.
We can all be great, and we should.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you a secret about what it takes to begin to expect more in your life. It's the courage to answer the call first.
Come on.
Because everyone in this room has gotten a call.
Yeah.
How many of us have been awakened in the middle of the night for no reason at all, wondering, why am I awake? What's going on? Right? That's God calling for you. In a time when you're not busy running around, you get your attention. Right? Answer that call. Don't just turn on the TV or read a book. Ask the question. How many of us get a flash of inspiration, an idea, a way of seeing something that no one else around us can see? That's God's flash of inspiration there.
Yes.
Yes.
What do we do when we get that flash? We go, it's too expensive, it's too old to do that, it's too hard, I don't know anybody who's done it, and we quickly brush away that inspiration.
Yeah.
You're giving away your gift. You're letting it pass on. Because God is looking for us, looking for those who are courageous enough to go, yes.
Yes.
To say that yes boldly.
Yes.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So how do we begin to expect more? Where does it start? We have to come to a place where we no longer accept the status quo. The things that were comfortable have to be, in some way, become no longer comfortable. The feeling has to be different. Then we change our thoughts. Well, how could this be different? If I'm not comfortable living where I'm living or working where I'm working, if I'm not comfortable around the people, what do I do? What can I change? That's where our creative juices start to flow. Maybe someone will meet someone new, something in that area that spurs us on our path. And ultimately, we must change our declaration. So I want you to say with me, I am ready.
I am ready.
I am making room for a different experience.
I am making room for a different experience.
Absolutely. Just by saying that, you start to move things around you. You shift the energy in your space.
Yes.
So that certain things now can't come to you.
Come on.
So don't be surprised when that happens. When that negative person doesn't even pass your way. Or when something good happens. Don't be surprised then too. Because it begins to shift immediately. You have to be open and able to say, I'm new.
Yeah.
So that can come in. Next step, you gotta write a plan. Write it down. Put your goals on paper. There's power when you write things down. And I do this in my own life, and I credit my mother for that. When I was about 7 or 8 years old, at the end of the school year, every year summer would start, it took 3 months. She'd say, all right, here's a blank sheet of paper, write down your goals for the summer. I'm a kid, 7, 8. That's why I have fun. She's like, write something down. So you can write down whatever. But then every year it kept happening over and over. And so then I began, I guess I have to take this seriously. Began to write down goals, reading books, doing things. And at the time had no idea how it would change the trajectory of how I began to reach different goals that were sometimes more challenging. So write it down, it gives it energy, it gives it power.
Yes.
And then you gotta activate it. Okay, you wrote it down, you thought about it, you feel differently, now you gotta activate it. How do you do that? You release it to the universe.
Come on.
That can be scary. Because you know, once you release it, it gathers more energy. And then things start changing even more. So easy, so easy to keep it close to our chest. But then God can't move through it. It just stays right there within you. And you're not allowing yourself to bless the Lord. And as you release it, be careful. This is not a time to start blabbing about it and telling everybody what you're going to do. Because everybody doesn't know where you are. They don't know how much you pray, how sincerely you pray. They don't know how cherished this vision, this dream is to you. So keep it to yourself. It's communication between you and God. Once it starts manifesting, then you can share it a little bit. You can just let them see the unfoldment.
Yes.
And be the demonstration as opposed to a mouthpiece to your vision.
Come on.
Then lastly, you have to release that excited anticipation every time you think about it. Just feel it, and it just bubbles up inside of you, and that excited anticipation continues to spur it on. I equate this to farmers, people who grow things. They have an instinctive understanding of what it means to expect. They plant the seed, they water it. They keep it in the right temperature, humidity, sunlight, shade if needed, so that it can be in its ideal environment to grow.
Yes.
It's the same with our expectations. What we're expecting. You have to nurture it, protect it, water it, give it light if it needs it, shade if it doesn't. Now that we've gotten our feet wet with expecting, we recognize that it isn't always easy, but we can do it. We've gone from, I'm comfortable, to, I don't like this anymore. And then we go to, can I change it? And then sometimes, some days in our dream, we say yes. And then other days it's like, I don't know, can I really have this? I'm not strong enough. And then we go to yes, and then no. And then many of us get stuck right there. Yes and no, and vacillating between our ability to receive what it is that we're asking for. Have you been inspired to move forward on? So through this message, my goal is to push you through that vacillation to get you to a bold yes.
Yes.
To our half-full lives, so that we can continue to activate who we are and feel backed by Spirit. But then that begs the question of, how do we know Spirit's backing our vision? How do we know that we have any inspiration at all, or are we just floating? When we think about it, how do we feel? It always goes back to feeling. When we think about this thing, does it make us feel happy? Joy, that joy is God's indication. It's your indication that God has your back. So keep going. So if you're still with me, it's time to go to the next phase, embrace. When we think of embrace, it gives me an amorous, loving vibration, where you're embracing a loved one or a child. But the embrace that I've interpreted in this theme is a little different, because it's less predictable. So we started, we must embrace our new desire, but then we ultimately must embrace ourselves. If we thought expecting was challenging, hold on. For those who've actually carried a child, they have an idea of what I'm saying when it comes to expecting and then embracing. That expecting part is tough. You got the weight gain, you got the nausea, you got the backaches. I could go on and on. And once this baby comes, which I remind you was something you wanted in the first place, for a whole new level from more patience. You're not sleeping. Right? You up with this baby. Got to have more compassion than you've ever had before. Got to figure out how to soothe this small person whose every need is met. Fed it, chewed it, burped, changed, loved. You're still unhappy. It's just like us when we're in the process of embracing our new selves.
Yes.
We get frustrated, get impatient, get angry for no reason or for whatever reason. And it's in those moments where we have to decide, I'm going to embrace myself anyway.
Yes.
I'm going to soothe, I'm going to commune with Spirit. Ask for guidance and stay true to myself. So embracing our evolution is the same way. It changes us to see ourselves differently, more completely. And so I ask you the question, can you embrace all of you, even if you've made a mistake?
Yes.
Were we intended to be perfect? Why can't we forgive and embrace the notion that I am still okay? I want you to say with me, I am still okay.
I am still okay.
And that's the absolute truth.
Yes.
You are.
Yes.
Okay. So then we speak often of the image and likeness of God. Can we really embrace that? Or is the concept of that just too much? The allness, image and likeness of God. To be in the image and likeness of God makes us worthy of the kingdom. Can you embrace that? Can you embrace that in the process of learning and discovering the God within? That gives God the entryway to work, do the work through us?
Yeah.
How do we do that? How do we get to a better concept? It's not glamorous. It's not sexy. At least it talks about it almost every week. Good old meditation.
That's right.
Meditation is like exercise. You know it's good for us. When we get to service early enough, participate in the meditation, we benefit immediately. Feel that lift, feel that boost. But you kind of have to be forced to get into it, forced to do it, or encouraged in some way. But once we get into a routine where it's part of our daily, we can see that we begin to more deeply embrace the God within us and accept ourselves as God's creation.
Yeah.
We can more clearly see the God around us in others, and then we consciously participate with God in the creative process so that we can continue to experience what it is that we're seeking. There are big rewards, but there are also big hurdles. The deeper you go with God, the more you must confront your stuff.
Amen. That's right. Yeah.
And some of us, those experienced ones, Just need a little Windex from time to time. A little room, a little dust off the floor. While others of us need a shovel. Let's be honest. And then there are others of us. When we got to get that jackhammer and unearth that stuff that has been there for decades.
Come on.
Why are we holding on to those false ideas? Who said it? They're long gone now. Let it go. Get that jackhammer. Because once you do that work, once you struggle through that stuff and clear it out, those healing waters that God is constantly washing over us can just move it right on out the way.
That's right.
It just reminds me of O.C. Smith. Some of you may have heard him speak from time to time. And I just reflect on his song, On a Clear Day. And if we can just do that work to move out our stuff, we can see forever and ever and ever. We're so fortunate to be here in LA. We can see the mountains hundreds of miles away. Don't take that for granted. It's right here. It's around us. It's through us. Begin to see God everywhere. It starts with seeing God inside.
That's right.
Yes. So embracing is a process. It can take years, but through courageous stillness, we can get there. And the good part is, the longer you do it, the easier it gets. Your muscles get trained, you get stronger. It's like exercise and the six packs. The muscles, they're bulging because you're doing your work. Keep meditating. I want you to say something now. We're gonna make a statement, affirmation. I'm in training to embrace myself fully.
I'm in training to embrace myself fully.
Absolutely. Receive it. I know it. And then there's the part that we're all waiting for, the enjoying phase, right? Where we pluck the fruits of our labor, we reap the rewards of our deep surrender. We catch insights that change everything. When at that point we can stand in the light of our new manifestation. What is it for you? What are you looking forward to enjoy? Can you drive it? Can you walk around in it? Can you zip it up more easily? Can you hold him or her in your arms? Whatever you're expecting is finally here. In consciousness first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Self-explanatory. We're enjoying, we're there. But it's that moment that you decided to expect something new and consistently taking effort, acceptance, and release, embracing your new self that got you there.
Yeah.
I'm going to share a personal story of myself. My path to becoming a physician. You see me standing here, accomplished, doing medicine for about 15 years now. But it was at in 10th grade. I took a physiology course, and I locked in. I was like, oh, what? They were talking about molecules and this, and half the class was like confused, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. So I knew, took the ball, ran with it. And then I got into undergrad, did my studies, was ready to prepare for medical school. Took the MCAT, didn't do so well. Took it again, applied to medical school. Did not get in. All my colleagues were in, they were there. I was like, oh my God. This vision that 6 years ago I said, I'm gonna do this, flash forward 6 years, no medical school acceptance. What would you do? Would you go to work, or would you do? I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, there's only one thing I want to do in this world, and that's be a doctor. And that's the absolute conviction you must have for your vision. So what I do? Took the MCAT again. Learned about myself. What did I need to accept about who I really was? What did I need to release? False ideas of who I wasn't.
Come on.
Then the acceptance is coming.
Come on.
Then you think maybe, okay, now it's easy? No, that's when the work really started. Test after test after test after test. Study volumes of books. Worth it, every minute of it. Because at that point, I had no idea how many people were waiting for me to succeed.
Come on.
It moves me so because they were so desperate to have someone that they could come to. And it's almost like Spirit was just moving me, in spite of me almost at times, because there was a bigger vision.
That's right.
There were family members and friends that flew halfway around the country to see me graduate that day. And it's almost like I can still hear those cheers of adoration and celebration. And that it motivates me, it keeps me going. And I say all that to say that there's an experience in your life that you've had that's been successful, it's been wonderful. You have to take that experience and use it as you go, I'm going to take a bold step here.
Come on. Right.
You look on your shelf and you see those dreams, those things you've let go. You've said, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm too whatever, fill in the blank. I challenge you to take them off the shelf.
Come on.
All right. You deserve it. The world is waiting for you. Almost like I don't know what else to say. Take it off the shelf. You're afraid. A little bit. That's why you haven't taken it off the shelf until today.
Yes.
Just a small step. Put it under your pillow. Draw a picture of it and put it by your bedside. Set it on the night table. Give yourself a thought about it. Make it a positive thought. Make it an inspiring thought. Make it an I can thought.
Yes.
And then the next day. And then maybe the following day. Or maybe you'll be walking down the street and someone will lock eyes with you and they say, I can see you. And that day where your knees may have been knocking, you'll say, oh, they see me, I gotta keep going. And that'll give you what you need to take that next step. And a step, and another step, and another step. And then you'll be there. You can do this. I see so much greatness in all of you. And I expect to see good things. I want to see the lights continuing to shine, getting brighter in each of you. And I thank you all so much for this opportunity and this time to share and to give. And so it is.